Hi, it's Hannah from Printful's marketing team. In this video, I'll show you how to create the chaotic typography design that was featured in our Design Trends video. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to create something like this as well. Let's begin. I have opened up Illustrator with a new artboard. Let's start by resizing the artboard. To do that, I'll head over to the toolbar, select the Artboard tool, and in the Properties tab located on the right side of the screen, I'll set the width and height value to 12 inches. I'll begin by selecting the Text tool, clicking on the artboard and typing the text that will be used for my design. Next, I'll switch to the Selection tool, and in the Character tab located on the right side, I'll change the font style to black italic. Now I need to turn the text into an object that I can freely edit. To do that, I'll head over to Object and select Expand. In the new window that will open up, I'll leave all the default settings and press OK. This will make the bounding box appear around my text. By holding down the Shift key, I'll click on one of the handles and drag it until the text is scaled up to fit on the artboard. Once that's done, I'll head over to Object and select Ungroup. This allows me to edit the shape of each individual letter. Now, I'll scale up the letters T and Y by holding down the Shift key. Next, I'll select the letters R and D by holding down the Shift key and move them to the bottom of the artboard. Then, I'll reposition the letter I so that it's slightly above the R and D. Next, I'll click on the letter E and move it so that it merges with the edge of the letter W. Then, by holding down the Shift key, I'll click on the W to add it to the selection. I need to convert the selected letters into a single shape. To do that, I'll choose the Shape Builder tool and draw over the selected letters. As I move the cursor over them, a mesh layer appears that shows which parts of the letters are going to be merged into a single shape. With that done, I'll switch back to the Selection tool and scale up the merged shape. It's good practice to notice and use negative space in your design in a creative way. I'll show you how it looks on the example of the letter A. I'll select the Rectangle tool and draw a rectangle over the letter A. Next, I'll change the rectangle's color by clicking on Fill under Appearance in the Properties panel located here. This will allow me to distinguish between the shape and the letter A. Next, I'll switch over to the Selection tool using the shortcut V, right-click on the rectangle shape, hover over Arrange, and select Send to Back. This will make the shape appear behind the letter A. Now, I'll add the letter to the selection by holding down Shift and clicking on it. Then, I'll head over to the Properties panel, and under Pathfinder, I'll click on the second icon, -front. This will subtract the shape of the letter A from the selection. Next, I'll head over to Object and select Ungroup. Then, I'll click on the artboard to deselect the objects, click again on the area surrounding the letter A, and press Delete. Now, all that's left are the previously empty gaps of the letter, or counters, which are now filled with color and appear as individual shapes. I'll select both of these shapes, switch to the Eyedropper tool, and click on the letter Y to fill the selected shapes with its color. I'll switch back to the Selection tool by pressing V and scale up the selected shapes. Next, I'll select the letter Y and switch to the Direct Selection tool by pressing A. This will make the shape path of the letter with all the anchor points visible. Now, I'll switch to the Pen tool, hover over the middle anchor point from the left side of the letter, and click on it to remove it. This way, I have removed an anchor point that created the left angle of the letter Y. With the letter Y selected, I'll switch to the Direct Selection tool by pressing A, select the bottom left and top left anchor points by holding down the Shift key, and move them to the right. With that done, I'll press V to switch to the Selection tool, click on the letter Y, and move it slightly to the right. Now, the negative space that's created between the letter T and Y starts to resemble the letter A. To improve that, I'll click on this shape with the Selection tool, switch to Direct Selection tool by pressing A, and drag the top anchor points to increase the height of the shape. Next, I'll do exactly the same actions with the letter T. I'll click on it with the Selection tool, press A, and slightly adjust this anchor point so that the negative space matches the angle of the letter A. With that done, let's move on to the bottom of the design. I'll select the W shape with the Selection tool and scale it up by holding the Shift key. Next, I'll switch to the Direct Selection tool and adjust the width of the horizontal strokes, or bars, in the letter E. I'll adjust the width of the bottom bar of the letter E so that it's approximately the same width as the distance between the empty areas, or counters, in the letter R. This way, when I select the letter R and place it on top of the bottom bar of the letter E, the two of them seamlessly merge. Next, I'm going to replace the capital letter I with a lowercase one. This gives the design more variety and also fills out the empty space below the letter Y. To do that, I'll select the Text tool, click on the Artboard, and type in the letter. Then I'll head over to Object, click Expand, and press OK in the new window that will open up. Now I'll switch to the Selection tool, scale up the letter, and place it so that the top and bottom align with the middle bar of the letter E and the bottom of the letter Y. Next, I'll select the V shape once more, switch to the Direct Selection tool, select the two anchor points in the middle of the letter W, and arrange them to match the width of the central part, or stem, of the letter T. Now I'll select the letter T, select the two bottom anchor points, and drag them down to bring them closer to the middle of the letter W. With that done, I'll select the letter D, switch to the Shape Builder tool, and draw over the counter to turn the letter into a solid shape. Next, I'll switch over to the Selection tool and position the letter so that it's aligned horizontally with the letter R. Then I'll select the letter I and move it so that it aligns vertically with the letter D. I'll select the V shape once more and adjust the middle and top bars of the letter E by dragging on the anchor points with the Direct Selection tool. Before finalizing my design, I'm going to adjust the scale and position of the top letters. Then select all the elements on the artboard with the Selection tool, click on Object, and choose Group. I'll scale the entire design so that it fits better on the artboard and export this design. All that's left is to place it on a Printful product and start selling. It might take some time to manually displace all the letters until you get the desired look, but I'm confident that after watching this video, you can create some awesome chaotic typography designs. By the way, in our last video, we showed you how to create an awesome tie-dye design in Photoshop and then placed it on one of our pillows. Well, here's how it turned out. If you want to create something similar, click right here and it will take you straight to the tutorial video. But if you want to save some time or need any help creating designs, reach out to our graphic design services team. You can do that by going to our Printful homepage and under the Services tab, choose Creative Services, select Graphic Design Services, and then submit a request. They'll be happy to help you out. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and learned something new along the way. If you're new to this channel and want to see more creative content in addition to business and marketing tips, subscribe to our channel and hit the bell. See you next time.